Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna talk about Murasaki. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So, to start with, we're gonna check her skills. Starting with Taimanin art. This is her launching attack, and as usual, it's pretty bad. As always, because of super armor. You're not able to launch the enemies if they have super armor. So yeah, there's no point in using this skill. So with one green, it knocks down the enemy by hitting the knocks down the enemy hit by the falling attack. I think it means that it falls down and it hits the enemy. It's super weird. Okay, so number 2, blue. Reduces skill cooldown by 20%, and 3, red, increases damage by 25%. So, pretty useless. If only we had, they need to rework these skills, definitely. Well, whatever, let's continue. Great Senpu. This is one of the main skills of Murasaki, but there's a catch. You need to use this skill on a full color build. Full green, full blue, or full red. If you don't use it on a full color build, then it's going to underperform. There's no point in using it because you don't get all the amazing effects. The green one restores HP, and that's one of the main reasons why everyone says that green is busted. Then we have blue. Charges while spinning to perform a consecutive attack. This is not negligible, it is pretty good actually. And people do not talk too much about it due to the lack of good supporters that we can use on Murasaki with blue. Attack, damage, increase supporters, I mean. And then we have red. Reduces damage by 30% for 10 seconds. Which is kind of a rare effect for a red set effect. Because red is mainly focused on increasing damage. But yeah, that's it. Then we have Great Axe Isen. This performs an attack. It's like she's hitting with a hammer. And with 2 green, she increases critical rate. With 2 blue, restores HP by 3% of damage. And with red, performs a consecutive attack by spinning forward. So yeah, this skill ain't that bad. But unfortunately, it underperforms when compared with another skill. So, yeah, the HP recovery is nice. The critical is okay. But I do not recommend that you use this one. There's only one situation in which I think it's kind of viable. And it's if you want to use skills for whatever reason. Maybe, I don't know, you want to use a passive on a supporter, which activates on skills, and you are bursting the super armor of the enemy. In that case, the enemy is not going to attack, and you're not going to be able to use this skill. So yeah, but for the most part, you're not going to use it. Why? Because of the command. The command hold, evade, it's shared with another skill that is better. So yeah. Then we have Tentacle Mine. Tentacle Mine is another one of Murasaki's main skills, but it's the green skill. If you go full green, this is mandatory because of the damage reduction. Well, let's check. So if you do this, if you evade an attack, it reduces the speed of the enemy and increases your speed with 1 supporter. With 2 green supporters, it increases the duration, and with 3 green supporters, it reduces the defense of the enemy by 75%. You're gonna deal a huge amount of damage if you use this on an enemy. So yeah, that's why people use this skill, and mainly the green build, but there's more to Murasaki than that. And we have Great Axe Rengenki. Dash, attack, and then you repeat attack. Yeah. Basically what you can see in the animation. With one red, you reduce damage by 50% during the attack, which is fine because she locks herself into this animation. So you're gonna need that damage reduction. And it has a good amount of super armor. Usually you don't get interrupted with Murasaki. On two red supporters, it adds 2 additional attacks, and with 3, it increases damage by 150%. Pretty good if you ask me. Then we have Fushi no Jin. This lets Murasaki take a stand, adopt a stand, whatever you call that. So she prepares to counterattack, and then she's going to reduce damage taken and restore HP when she counterattacks. With 2 greens, it increases the area of effect, which is pretty good if you're facing many enemies, then you're gonna hit most of the map. With 2 blue, reduces damage taken by an additional 30%. Not bad considering that you have to take an attack, and sometimes the bosses deal a huge amount of damage, so extra damage reduction is good, because after all you're going to recover HP. And then there's 2 red, which increases counterattack damage by 80%. This is huge, guys. We don't have that many good defensive red supporters, and I mean damage reduction, not invincibility. We don't have too many of those. So let's say that you level you enhance your supporters, and they can give you a lot of HP, and they almost kill you with one attack. Well, just one counter attack, and then you're gonna recover all your HP. It is great on red. Then we have the golden skill, basic enhancer. If you have if you have one supporter, you reduce damage taken. If you have 2, it increases more your defenses by 25%, and if you have 3, it increases particle charge. So yeah, this is good for putting whenever you don't have anything better to use. If you equip this because, I don't know, you want to use these 2, for example, they use the same command, but you don't have a space, you have 1 space left because you're not going to use this and your strategy requires to use both, then you can just add this to the mix and it's gonna help you. It is good as an option to deal more damage if you, well, to increase your survivability if you don't have anything better to put on your skills. Then we have Great at Setsuga. People don't talk too much about this skill. It was kind of popular back when she received her limited supporter, but then people thought that it wasn't that good after all, after discovering that green is busted. And it is actually pretty good. But this is especially good against waves of enemies. If you're fighting a single enemy, it's not that good. So, what does it do? As you can see, you start to Beyblade like crazy, and then with 1 blue, you knock back the enemies. With 2 blues, you add 3 additional spins, and with 3 blues, you increase critical damage. So yeah, the main problem is that blue isn't recognized by damage increase, which it has some options, but not too many, or critical, which it also has options for critical, but not too many. It's mainly recognized for damage reduction or HP recovery, which is why people don't abuse this skill. But I'm going to show you what you can do. So then we have Tentacle Anchor, one of the best skills that you can put on Murasaki, but only if you're fighting against one enemy. If you're fighting against multiple enemies, this isn't that good because it's a single target skill. With the main green, it reduces speed. With the main blue, it reduces damage taken by 25%. with the main red, it performs an attack right after grabbing the enemy and getting next to them. So yeah, the best is the green, definitely. The second best is the red, because at least you deal damage. On the other hand, this one, it's only good if you use it to get near the enemy when they have the super armor down, but then you're going to waste the damage reduction, so it's not that good with blue. Lastly, we have Tentacle Hold. Pretty good skill. It deals an AoE damage that makes the enemy groggy. With 2 green restores HP by 3% of damage inflict. With 2 blue reduces the enemy speed. With 3 red reduces the attack of the enemies by 20%. So yeah, definitely the best option is green. And then red and blue are there, but usually you don't want to use Tentacle Hold unless you plan to abuse the groggy part or the enemy speed reduction. So yeah, that's about it. As you can see, all of her skills are melee, which is great, except for Tentacle Mine, which doesn't count as damage. So now, what can you do with her? What kind of supporters do you want to equip? So there's a ton of options that synergize well with her. So mainly you want to focus on melee damage. Also, you can go with critical. It is very good with critical. It's also good with critical rate. Or is the human one? Human. This one. You can also equip critical rate with her. You can also go for HP recovery. HP recovery. Where is it? It's on the top. Yeah, HP recovery. You can go with other niche strategies. I'm going to show you one right now. But there's also something important. She, oddly enough, isn't that good with damage reduction. There's like a couple things that you can equip to her. And the best damage reductions are definitely now, but that's for VR. And Hisui, also for VR. Because most damage reduction supporters do not proc on her. Let's say, reduce damage taken by demon. Oh no, that's not it. What about, I don't know. I mean specialized damage reduction, not generic damage reduction. Like, this would work, but it is not that big of a damage reduction, you know? How about the pink one? Where is the pink one? This one. Oh no, she's not protect. And, well, those 2 greens are kind of the best damage reduction. And there's some red that would work, but you don't want red to do your damage protection, right? So, your damage reduction. So yeah, that's not ideal. There's also a couple super niche strategies that you can do, like with Eleanor, to become a supporter, debuffer with green. Also, there's, which one? This one, but we're gonna analyze that one in a moment. There's also Tokiko. This is super niche for damage. So you would put Tokiko, the limited release Tokiko, character release limited Tokiko, on the main slot to get the critical active, the 100% critical rate and critical damage increase, along with, oddly enough, red Tokiko. Why red Tokiko? Because she's going to constantly debuff the enemies and she's going to give you some damage on the basic attacks. Why do I care about constantly debuffing the enemy? Well, there's a reason. You can use, after that, Suzune or Holy Knight Kirara. Yeah, you can use those. Usually they won't proc in normal Murasaki builds because you're gonna go full colors, as I said, if you want to use Senpu. But Tentacle Anchor activates on the main, so you put Tokiko, green Tokiko, on the main. You can use Tentacle Anchor to debuff the enemy, and then Tokiko is also going to constantly debuff the enemy. So yeah, most of the time you're gonna be able to get the extra damage on something like Susune or Holy Knight Kirara. But well, now let's go to the specifics. How do you want to build her red? Well, there's many options. You can go with Homura, with not Faust, Rinka. Let's see, we skip. You can use Nagi, yes, because she is a surprise type character, but as usual, she's kind of defensive and also offensive, but not too good on any of those, just a filler if you want. And then we have Stella, great option. Unfortunately, Susune, it's not recommended for the most part. With red, she doesn't specialize. She can do a build that debuffs the enemy, but she doesn't debuff the defenses with red. So yeah, you won't get that much mileage out of red with debuffs. Then, but if you are insistent on that, you can use this one. You can use Shizuru, limited character release supporter, as well as this one, What else you can use? You can use none of this. You can use this if you want speed, but I wouldn't recommend it. And you can use Galilim also if you're going for that debuff strategy. But mainly, you want to use Baretta, you want to use Yukina, and in the main, you want to use New Year Shiranui. Skill damage, all damage and critical damage, and damage, defense, and more damage. Classic damage, red. So, as you can see, I don't have them super enhanced. They're just +1. And Shiranui, yeah, it's kind of decent. But that means that my Murasaki isn't going to have too much HP. I'm going to use these weapons. Arena weapon, whatever Magatama's 5-5. And the gacha weapon with 3 copies. I guess I have betters, maybe? No, I don't have better weapons with her. I have these, but unfortunate stats from the snake weapons, So, no, I'm not going to use that. Besides, the passive is very good, especially how I'm going to play her. It increases the damage depending on the number of critical hits that you do, and it stacks up to 5 times. So, yeah. As usual, Demon Magatamas, I'm doing tower. I have damage reduction and damage dealt with melee attacks increased by 3%. So yeah, let's test her out with red. Yes, the skills. Before we start, as you can see here, I'm going to use Fushinojin to heal. This is going to be absurd, insane. It is super good. Great Size Rengenki, also pretty good, amazing. And I'm just filling in with the basic attack enhancer, but you can use whichever other skill you want. Senpu, no, if you want to use Rengenki, and Isen, no, if you want to use Fushinojin. But you can use the other ones. You wouldn't use this one, but maybe Tentacle Hold? maybe Tentacle Anchor, if you want, or even Tentacle Mine. It's kind of just like Astaroth Serpent Blaze, where it's just that good and you can use it even if it's not on the right color. But I'm not going to use it. I'm going to do the basic enhancer and that's it. So yeah, for this one, you just want to get on the right place and start smashing. Just like that. And destroyed. Then you want them to come here for you and destroy. Easy peasy. Yeah, it's busted. Really busted. And I'm not even using the active right now. Yeah, you want to do that? You want to deal damage? Then just use this. Red is great. Unfortunately, it's not ideal for VR. I mean, you can do it. You can do it in VR. But I would suggest that you control Murasaki if you decide to go with different colors on VR other than green. Because she doesn't have the same amount of HP recovery and she isn't going to optimize the use of her skills. Okay? So, now, after that, I'm going to use, let's see, my note says that I go blue. Okay, then I'll go blue. With the Christmas theme. This is gonna be pretty bad because as you can see, I, as always, don't have my Onigumo. But which are the options? You can get Onigumo, you can get Fuma Amane, and you can get Mido Haruka, depending on what kind of enemy you're facing, of course. But then it starts to get tricky. Here I am using Arabella because of the big damage increase, but it is not ideal for a stage with that many mobs. And I'm using also Kana. I'm using Kana, which the buffs give me more attack. And I guess that's fine because if she's on the active, she gives buffs and my weapon gives me buffs. But really, there aren't that many options. I mean, you can use Saya, yes, but it doesn't give too much damage, like absurd damage. And there's also Fuyumi, which is the same. It gives damage and damage reduction, but not that much. And then we don't have too many options for damage. That's a shame. There are specific things that you may use, like this one, like 4-4. I think I have 4-4 on one of the slots, by the way. And yeah, that's kind of her problem. There aren't many things that you can use. She's super slow, so using a Nanase is not effective at all. And then, well, that's about it. Yeah. That's the problem with blue and why people don't use it. But let me show you this. Even with this, it's impressive. I can tell you that. Again, same weapon, same Magatama. But for skills, I'm going to use Fushinojin for the HP recovery. I'm going to use Great Axe Setsuga. And I'm going to use Great Axe Senpu. Senpu is for the damage. We have two excellent skills for damage here. Believe me, they are quite appealing. Now, let's try this very quickly. And first things first, I'm going to charge and I'm going to spin. Beyblade! Yeah, as you can see, it doesn't deal that much damage if you just basic attack, but with the skills it can deal a huge amount of damage. And it's especially good against waves of enemies. If you're facing one enemy, I mean, it also hits good on one enemy, but you're not taking advantage of that build. So, one more time. First, HP recovery, just to do that, and stun a couple enemies. Then, increase the speed. And lastly, do this. Yeah. Basically, the active on this supporter, you want to use it when she's spinning. Yeah. Pretty easy, pretty good for what it is. I don't have the best supporter, which is Spider Girl. What's the name? I already forgot. Let's see, supporter. I have Furfur instead of Onigumo, which is a shame. But yeah, we have the other options for other kind of stages, the human and the machine. So yeah, as you can see, it is not negligible at all, the blue build. If you know how to build it, it's gonna be fine. And then, if you want, you can go defensive. This is another blue, but it's mixed. So for this one, as I mentioned, defensive Murasaki, it's kind of difficult because there are not many good options. Hisui, then who else? Now, Major, Sharia, and I think that's about it. That's why, unfortunately, I don't think I have something that it's anti-demon. I don't remember. So yeah, I'm gonna show you even so wrong with this one because it's quite good. Same skills, but here I'm using Tentacle Hold. Tentacle Hold, you can replace it for whatever you want. If you want this Tentacle Anchor to give you more defense and increase your survivability, that's fine. Speed reduction, maybe. You can change the order to get the speed down if you want. And yeah, that's about it. For the supporters, I'm using Murasaki on the main one, the limited one, which you can change for Kirara. Increases and restores HP. I think that this one restores HP even though it's not demon, but you lose the damage increase, so I don't recommend it. I think there was another one that we received other than Narita that gives you survivability, but I don't remember right now. So yeah, I also have Narita, which restores HP, super good. And let's test that super quickly. Again, same BL with the weapons and Magatamas. So yeah, this of course is not going to deal that much damage. This is kind of in case you don't have anything better to deal damage, because they're not going to kill you, and you deal a decent amount of damage for not having damage increasing supporters. So very quickly, I spin, destroying super armor. That's one of the advantages of the Beyblade, because you can destroy super armor pretty quickly with this kind of attack. Yeah. What? You want to do something? No. I'm not allowing you. Again. It's Beyblade. Yeah, and I don't have the... What's the name? I'm just gonna use this. It's Senpu. I don't have Senpu, which is kind of the best and the main skill everyone wants to use, because I'm going mix. But it is not too bad. I can manage. Then I do this. I'm not going to use the ultimate, because I don't need it. Oh, the amount of super armor this character has is insane, believe me. Come on, just hit. There we go. And thanks to the weapon, I get a decent amount of damage Even though I don't have the supporters, I still crit. Yeah. So these two builds, these two colors are not something you should dismiss. Obviously, they are not optimal for the kind of challenging content that we have right now, that is VR. All the other builds are pretty good for everything else. Like you can use red or blue for for tower, as you can see. And this was defensive. I'm not using any damage, I think. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, supporters. No damage. No damage. And increases. No damage. Creates no damage, yeah. At all. Just the damage of the weapon and that's it. And I gotta admit, the passive is not that bad. But it's 3 out of 5. So it's not the best it could be. So yeah, this is amazing. And lastly, we have the infamous green build. For green, we have a couple options, but we're gonna start with critical green. Let's see the skills. Tentacle Mine, because you use Tentacle Mine with green. That's it. Senpu, because you use Senpu with green. And here, this is absurd. It's not necessary because of the type of content I'm challenging. Fushinojin. You don't need it, but it can be done. And I'm missing something. I know that I'm missing something. I mean, you could use this one instead of Fuji. But I like that this also has a big area of effect on 7 seconds. And this is 16 seconds. That's the only problem with this skill. So yeah, I'm not using Tentacle Anchor because I'm not facing one boss. I'm facing 3. And supporters. Here I'm going full critical. But even though I have a limited, you can easily change this one. I love this one on the main because it gives you attack speed, which is perfect for Murasaki. She's pretty slow, and whenever she uses a skill, she gains some speed, so that's great. Then we have the critical rate increase that goes up to 30%, and damage increase depending on the number of enemies. Since this stage have more than one enemy, it has minions, then it's okay. It gives you a decent amount of damage. And even after you beat all the minions, you still got the critical rate, so that's fine. And the speed. Then I'm using Suruga. You know, critical rate and critical damage. And Kowaru. Yeah, Kowaru for the critical damage, almost 50%. But that's not the only options that we have. If you want defensive, there's Hisui. If you want a different critical, we have Akane. We have Yuno. If you want to go melee, there's Nagi, there's Ichika. Then what else? I'm checking. You can use this, yes, but I wouldn't recommend it. It increases the HP recovery, which is good, but you can also increase your HP recovery dealing more damage. So yeah, that's the thing. Other than that, we have this one, which increases your critical rate. It's basically the same as this on the main effect, the critical rate increase. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you damage or speed, but you can use it. You can use this Lefria. It's good. Then we have specialized supporters. This one, good. If you have her, if you want to use her, pretty good, especially on the main. Then we have Kanade. Kanade, it says that it increases damage on melee attacks for 2 seconds. So yeah, if I wanted to try this, but 2 seconds on Murasaki, I don't think so. She's too slow to use this properly. So I suggest that you don't try it. Maybe it works if you are on top of the enemy, but for 2 seconds, I don't think so. Now for BR or other stages where the enemies have buffs, Misaki for BR, and you can use it as a main. It's a good option so that your Murasaki becomes a healer. Asteroid Dark Sun, good option. Also a good option if you want to use it as a main, because it increases the damage of your attacks if you are hitting a debuffed enemy, and with green you are, definitely. This one, it's also good because it increases the skill damage on green. And let's see. We have, what else? This one increases critical damage with melee attacks by 20%. It goes up to 40%. Pretty good if you go for a critical build. In fact, I would change her for Suruga if I had her 5-5, but I don't. No, BR, I think. And this one. This one, you can do some niche strategies by debuffing more the enemy, because with green you are debuffing the enemy. So you can use Tentacle Anchor, Tentacle Mine, and this supporter to super slow the enemy. This one is whatever, not that good. This one is a staple that you can use. Most people have it now if you were on the anniversary. And yeah, that's about it for this one, I think. Yeah, you're gonna see that this is disgusting. I mean, super, super disgusting. Again, same weapon, same everything. The only difference is I'm using Senpu, Fuji no Jin, and Tentacle Mine. So, this is gonna do so much damage. This is why everyone uses green, because of the amount of HP recovery skills that you have. But it is fun to play. God. It is fun to play the other ones. Unfortunately, we need different kind of challenging content, especially something that doesn't have critical resistance. Like, you cannot use this specific build on BR. Instead, you want to use Misaki, Nao, and Hisui. Yeah. I do this. Destroy, destroy, destroy. Yeah. A million on a basic attack. Yeah. Kind of nice, I guess. So yeah, pretty good. I think I didn't say it. I don't remember if I said it, but on the red one, I was evaluating everything, but I think... No, yeah, I did. Just a reminder, I use Baretta, and this one, Yukina. Yukina is super, super cool on this specific build. So if you want to change this skill for, I don't know, Tentacle Hold, or something that deals damage, it is okay to do so. Even Senpu. I didn't use Senpu on the blue one, or maybe I did, but it's super amazing how busted the damage is with Senpu on blue, because it hits double. So yeah, very quickly, before we finish, we have two more things to do. First is to check the weapons, and we're gonna start with the weapon that I don't have. So I'll go to this one, to the gacha. Gacha, here, I go down, and starting with Machinery X. When using Great Axe Rengenki, the red one, use 5% particle and increase the number of hits damage of additional attack increases... Wait a moment. Use Rengenki. Use 5% particles and increases the number of hits. Okay. So I guess that it means that each... I don't have it, so that's why I don't know. But each time you can use 5% particles and you get an extra hit for each 5 that you use. Maybe. And you can exhaust your particles. Or maybe just one extra hit. Damage of additional attacks increase... No, it's definitely multiple attacks. Increase by 5% per attack. So you're gonna deal a huge amount of damage. So there's a special combo with this. I'm gonna talk about this later. With this and with the limited weapon. So let's check the other weapons. Murasaki, here you are. Weapons. First, we have this one, pretty good, if you're able to crit, which I am not in VR, you know? Whatever good VR, no, arena weapons, those are fine. Then we have the Rudolph Crusher. This is coming back this month, and it's probably, I think that we are going to have tickets similar to the ones that we had in summer. So that means that we're going to be able to pick a couple, maybe we're going to be able to pick a couple Christmas weapons. And this is definitely one of the best if you haven't built Noah. Astaroth it's not a good option. An Ingrid. Noah and Ingrid are, if you have them like max level and super max out, maybe you can buy hers, but this one is gonna be good for general content, especially VR. It gives extra damage and reduces damage from demon type characters, and the active deals freeze for 5 seconds, which it's gonna be instantaneous that it deactivates because you're gonna deal double damage on the next attack instance. We have the Momochi weapon, which again is good as long as you're able to crit, just like this one. When you're not able to crit, it's not good. The Bad Malicious weapon. The limited weapon. So, when using Great Axe style Setsuga, each spin uses 16% of particles to do an additional spin attack, and it gets you the dodge cancel. Dodge cancel is good. It should be integrated on the skill rather than the weapon, but okay, I'll accept it. And this is gonna be good. The supporter gives you basically a full particle recharge if there are enough enemies. So it is not bad, especially considering now that the ultimate doesn't deal. I mean, in my opinion, it doesn't deal enough damage on challenging content to use it and just waste some of the time of your debuffs. So instead, I prefer to use it on active skills or other things. And then we have the snake weapon, which increases particle charge from attacks by 150%. I've heard that this effect is still active even if you put it on the sub slot, but the main draw of this one is that it has lower stats than a standard weapon. This is not a good option, good example. I think I'll have to use another character. Let's see who has. I think that this one. Yeah, let's see. That's 380 and 3837, and this is 2733. Yeah, you see the difference in the stats. So that's why, and this is 5.5, and the other one too. So that's why those weapons aren't recommended. But there's something that you should take into consideration. So there's this combo that I thought about, where you can use Sue, preferably Sue, and these two weapons. Little Witch Sue is going to activate on melee attacks. And you can use this weapon to increase your particle gain. And you can use this attack to proc the effect of Witch Sue a ton of times. I haven't tried it, and I'm probably not going to try it. Maybe I will, but look at this. This is just 1.5. It's kind of harsh to try it. I'll have to do it on a lower arena level or a lower yeah, VR level. But basically, what you should do is that you equip Sue along with other three blue supporters. Little Witch Sue, where is Little Witch Sue? This one. You equip the corresponding weapon. You equip the snake weapon. Unfortunately, I don't think there are like good particle charge supporters with blue. If I'm not mistaken, it's and red, the particle charge supporters. So yeah, but it's possible maybe to do this. I'm gonna test it. Maybe I'll see. I'm thinking about doing a video on Oboro once the human enemy is back, Mask Taimanin. But yeah, just to finish, a couple thoughts on what are the strengths and weaknesses of Murasaki. So, first of all, she's very easy to use. Like, she's super tanky. She has a lot of HP recovery. She has a ton of super armor, so she's not getting interrupted. She's good for challenging content. She has good CC on green. She has insane HP recovery. One more time. I mean, it's just that huge. The only bad thing about Murasaki, in my opinion, is the slow. How slow she is. I mean, other than that, she's kind of perfect for most content. I mean, you can put it on any kind of content and she's gonna perform optimally. The only thing that she struggles with is speed. So if you want to do a speed challenge, maybe she's not gonna do well. But other than that, she's fine. So yeah, that's about it for today. And I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!